Coming up today, the red-hot Red Storm of St. John's, fresh off big wins over first Syracuse, and most recently Notre Dame will face an even bigger challenge, the 9th-ranked Panthers of Pitt. Sparked by three-point specialist Ronald Ramon, Big East basketball from Pittsburgh is next. We're on the campus of the University of Pittsburgh on this Saturday afternoon, getting set for a Big East matchup of the Red Storm and the Pitt Panthers, who are ranked number 9 in the country. St. John's 3-4 on the regular season. The Panthers lead the conference at 6-1. We welcome you inside the Peterson Event Center today. I'm John Sanders along with Bob Valvano. Two huge last-second victories for the Red Storm. First it was Syracuse, and then it was Notre Dame, both at home.
Now you know why coaches are so paranoid, John, because one or two possessions literally can turn your season around. This was a team that was very wobbly, and then last-second heroics. You saw the one there against Syracuse, and then this one, Larry right off the great kick-out pass, beats Notre Dame. The Garden goes crazy and literally has turned their season around. They're talking about postseason play and a completely different atmosphere around the entire ball club.
A 4-point victory for the Red Storm over Syracuse on Sunday, and then it was 71-68 on Wright's three-pointer. But the challenge today, talk about three-pointers. Nobody's shooting three-pointers any better than Ronald Ramon right now.
Well, this whole team, offensively, so much better. They still are that Pitt trademark, fine defensive team, strong on the glass. But you see Ramon, look at the form on the jump shot. It's just textbook. Great arc, great release. He is over his last 4 games, 12 of 16 behind the three-point line. And John shooting 49% behind the arc for the season. That's outstanding, and really getting some help from his teammates. Not a one-trick pony. This team can shoot the ball this year.
And he has scored in double figures in the last 4 games for the Panthers. They're looking for another home win. They've only lost 1 game here. We'll have the starting lineups. First tip coming up after this. Today's Big East basketball game is brought to you by Hyundai, with quality that lets them offer America's best warranty, 10 years, 100,000 miles. Red Lobster, it's jumbo shrimp at Red Lobster, starting at $11.99. And by Oppenheimer Funds, the right way to invest. We're in the Peterson Event Center getting set for this Big East matchup between St. John's and Pittsburgh. Let's check out the starting lineups for these two clubs. We're nearing the midway point in the regular season of the Big East. Anthony Mason has done a terrific job inside, a guy that loves to dunk the basketball. Levance Fields also wears number 2. He doesn't dunk it. He'll shoot when he needs to, and he'll pass when he has to. Here's Norm Roberts' 3rd season, coming out of coaching assistant ranks at both the Big 12 and the Big 10 before coming to St. John's, although he's from Queens. And Jamie Dixon has just done a spectacular job as head coach of the Panthers, closing in on 100 wins already, Bob.
It's just been remarkable what this team has done. You look at that winning percentage, and in this building especially, but they have not had an easy time of it with St. John's. The games have been very close. The Red Storm beat them at the Garden last year, and I think everybody's anticipating a battle today.
Will Bush is our referee. The umpires are Ed Corbett and Pat Driscoll. It was 55-50 in the Garden last year. St. John started that game by scoring the first 14 points. Panthers opening with the basketball. Cook, the newcomer, the transfer from East Carolina, gets it to Fields. Here's Aaron Gray. Kicks it all the way across again to Cook. Shot clock at 15. They will take their time in the half court.
John, watch if St. John's is effective pushing them out on the entry passes. That's what they worked on in practice.
Fields takes the first shot and hits it.
Pretty good defensive possession, but Fields just created on his own.
He had 6 3-pointers in the win over Cincinnati. A road win for the Panthers, who lead the Big East Conference. Their only loss came here at home to that outstanding Marquette team. Power move, but the shot hits the edge of the backboard and goes out of bounds. It'll be Pittsburgh ball. Lamont Hamilton tried to force it up, could not get it to go. Let's check out our star watch for this afternoon. A couple of big men, they'll be battling inside.
Well, as great as Aaron Gray's played, this is not an easy matchup for him. We'll keep an eye on that as well, because when St. John's has won the battle of the boards in the last 7 games, they've won 4 of them. When they've lost the battle on the boards, they've lost all 3 of them, so they're going to have an inside presence.
Cook down the lane, hangs and hits as he glides it off the glass.
Is there any question this team is just better offensively than recent Pitt teams? So many weapons.
Well, at that number 3 spot, he's a different kind of player from the one they've had in the past.
They're Jamie likes to call them 9 starters, any one of which can go for probably 15 points on any given day. And he has a lot of firepower, but still a very good defensive team.
This is Lawrence. He is the team captain. Gets it back to Patterson. They go inside. Spears will shoot from the baseline. It rattles out, and the rebound goes to Levon Kendall. First 4 points of the ball game here in the opening couple of minutes belong to the Panthers. Fields covered there by Eugene Lawrence. Gets it to Kendall. They look inside to the big man, Aaron Gray. Backs him down, then dumps it down to Kendall, who kicks it back outside and throws it away. That's unusual for them. They have had an excellent best assist to turnover ratio in the entire league. Well, there are the 9 starters that we talked about.
Yeah, 9 players average 12+ minutes a game. John, this team leads the nation in assist to turnover ratio, so just speaks to your point there. And they have 7 players who are plus in that category. That's extraordinary.
Lawrence looks inside, doesn't go there. Instead, it's Patterson. 3-point shot on the way and good. Out of the hands of Anthony Mason Jr. 3-point shooter, only shooting 29% from 3.
He's been playing great of late, but not doing that. He's been averaging 8.5 rebounds over their last 8 games. And as we said, the rebound numbers have translated into wins, so he's been a key for them.
Here's Kendall, steps beyond the arc and then goes inside. Quick turnaround by Aaron Gray, won't go, puts it back up, missed again. Lawrence gets tangled up briefly with Graves, but kicks it on the wing to Patterson. He'll shoot a 3. That one rims off, and Gray has the rebound. Panthers leading by a point. Kendall from outside. Got it.
If he can do that, John, they are a different team, because that's the one area statistically where he doesn't fit. He's only shooting 41% on the year for a team that's shooting almost 50% from the field. That's an encouraging start for Kendall.
And he's only averaging about 5 points a game, so he has not been the kind of scorer they thought they were going to see. Patterson has it outside. Jump hook by Spears rattles in, out, and back in. So he gets his first 2.
They are still old school that way. Norm Roberts, they want to play inside out. You see, they pounded it in there a couple of times. That time Spears got it to go down.
Our first sub is getting set to check into the ball game. Here's Cook. Now Gray spins. And he was held on the way in. That foul is going to go on Aaron Spears. It'll be his first, the first we've had in the ball game, and we'll have our first sub as Karan Calhoun will check in. He's a native of Brooklyn. And the one thing that they've been able to do, Bob, for years the Panthers had a lot of people from New York, the Bronx, the Queens, but now the Johnnies have started to get some of those players back again.
There is no question that may be the single best thing Norm's done. Good shot there by Graves.
Rattles home a 3. A 46% 3-point shooter, and this is a good shooting Panther team. They average almost 41% from 3-point range.
Salonis might have got away with an illegal screen there, kind of threw a block, but
that's a 3 that won't go, and Gray's right there for the rebound.
I think you can see how much respect St. John's has for this 3-point shooting ability, because they haven't doubled Gray when they've thrown it in there. Oh, good screen by the big fella.
And Kendall puts it on the ground, goes to the basket, got it back after the block. There's the short jumper. That's too strong. Loose ball, tracked down by Cook. He puts up a jumper. That one is too hard. Finally tipped out of bounds. Did he get timeout? And the timeout is taken.
Well, they did give it to him.
15:35 remaining in the opening half. It's the Panthers with 4 different players have a basket, and they have a 3-point lead so far. Stay with us. Back to Pittsburgh with more after this. Early lead belongs to Pitt. They also have a big lead early on in rebounds, a 7-2 margin, and some good work to get the ball inside where they need to.
Well, I think you're seeing St. John's respecting what Pitt did against Cincinnati when they shot 12 of 19 behind the 3-point line. Look at this. Goes into Gray, who's only their leading scorer. No double. No double. Actually, that play was waved off because he got held as he turned to the basket. But that's a commitment. Obviously, Norm Robertson said, we'll take our chances going belly up and play on one-on-one, because when you double him, he finds shooters. And they were 12 for 19 behind the arc in Cincinnati, and I don't think they want to run that risk today.
There's Lawrence with a pass inside, and it skips out of bounds. So the Red Storm turns it back. That's their first turnover. 15:23 remaining. We're just underway this afternoon. Glad you could join us. Warmed up considerably today compared to yesterday, huh?
Let's hope so, or we just had to take a sled here.
Cook with a drive to the baseline. Cut off, gets it back to Graves. Off the Gray screen. Here's Kindle from the baseline. Bending off, tipped up, and brought in that time by Yesalonis. Yesalonis with it, kicks it to Mason. Anthony Mason Jr. has the Mason Jr. on his uniform. It's an interesting story about practice uniforms in this little hot streak. Calhoun from outside. That's no good, and into the hands of Cook, who picked up his 4th board. Coach Roberts was not happy with the team the Friday before the Syracuse game. Sent them home. When they came back, he put their practice uniforms away and gave them some blue uniforms. Well, they beat Syracuse, so they kept the blue practice uniform.
Well, the players decided to. After they beat Syracuse, he was ready to give them everything back. And the players said, you know what, Coach? We like being reminded how hard we have to work. We're going to stay with this. So maybe they'll have the blue storm soon. I don't know. If they keep winning, I don't think the players would mind too much.
Absolutely not.
Tough shot challenged. Mason let that one go under some pressure. You saw a nice finish by Gray on the last possession with the left hand. Again, if they're not going to double him, he's going to have to finish in there.
There he goes down low again, pushes his way inside and held ball. That time Yesalonis did a good job.
Nice defensive play there. And again, you can't overstate that. I mean, here's a guy coming in as the preseason conference player of the year, and yet St. John's deciding, as you look here, to just play him straight up. And Yesalonis, nice job, keeps his feet, hands straight up, gets the jump ball call, and eliminates the possibility that Gray can kick it out and find a three-point shooter, and he's going to have a seat.
Yeah, along with Kindle. That's unusual. One of them is usually out there. So the Panthers going smaller. Each team bringing in 3 subs. So we've got a lot of new people. There's Wright, has it knocked out of bounds. He hit the game winner with 10 seconds to go against Notre Dame. He's on the court right now. Of course, Lamont Hamilton is still out there, along with Spears and Patterson and Lawrence.
Interesting. This is something maybe you wouldn't have thought Pitt could have done. Have enough offensive firepower without the big fella in there, but there's a block on Young trying to jump out on the screen. Jamie, I think going to that, thinking, hey, I like the way we move the ball against Cincinnati. Let's go small against this team and see if their bad guys can match up with us.
So Young, Biggs, Benjamin, Ramon, all on the court. The only starter who remains is Graves. Basically foul free so far in the first 6+ minutes. Only 1 foul on each team. This is Lawrence. Ramon jumps out on him, and he just fired it through the hands of Hamilton.
You know, we've made so much about how much better Pitt is offensively. Still so good defensively. 40% defensive field goal percentages. You see an overtime tilt in the Battle of New Jersey there. They're still so good defensively. 31% shooting defensively, line of 3-point line.
Biggs misses. He's well short with that one. Heading back quickly the other way is Lawrence. Now he'll put on the brakes and wait for Hamilton. Hamilton trying to step around Young, can't do it. Wright goes inside. Spears with a jump hook, comes up short. Tipped into the hands of Ramon. He had it for a moment, and now the Red Storm grabs it. Lawrence has it. A reach in and knocking it out of bounds is number 23. That's Sam Young. And like a guy who hasn't played and may not, Darrell Hill, he's been bothered all year long by tendonitis of the knee.
So difficult for coaches to manage that. When you practice them, it flares up, they can't play.
Quick inbound pass and a quick basket by Patterson.
Such a good pass. Took Patterson by surprise, but he caught that one out of self-defense. But it gets the Red Storm an easy bucket, and they're hanging in there.
He's averaging in double figures. They're down 3. They've trailed by as many as 5 here in the opening 20 minutes. And Levance Fields is going to check back in for the Panthers. Young thought about it. Ramon decides not to shoot the 3. That's been his specialty in the last 4 games. A drive by Graves. Pull up and good.
Kind of like this for Pittsburgh because St. John's spent so much of their game plan how they were going to pressure the ball, push it out, and try and keep it out of Gray's hands. When Gray went out, really takes away your focus of what you were doing defensively.
They get it down low, but no place for Spears to go. So he was going to think he was going to hook it up. It winds up another turnover in the hands of Ramon. And they've had 3 turnovers in the last couple of minutes. Didn't get the roll on the baseline jumper as he drove to the basket. And the foul is called on Larry Wright. And here are some finals. How about Providence knocking off Connecticut? The Huskies are having some problems. Georgetown has beaten Cincinnati 82-67 in D.C.
UConn losing at home. Amazingly, we still have tons of basketball, but if the Big East tournament started today, they'd be on the outside looking in. Get long odds on that before the season starts.
Well, what has happened is Graves missed the first of two. Is that the conference has kind of gotten thick in the middle, hasn't it?
It's a middle-age spread is what I call it. There's probably not as many logical national championship contenders, but there's a lot of pretty good teams in the middle of that bunch, and it's always been that way, but more so than ever this year, I think.
5 points early on for the senior from Mansfield, Ohio, as Levance Fields checks back into the lineup. And Graves will sit down. Keith Benjamin is out there. Benjamin wears number 1. He's from Mount Vernon, New York, and his old high school team is here, as a matter of fact. They're playing in a tournament in Aliquippa, Pennsylvania, outside of town. Power move up and under, and Gray stays with it and blocks Hamilton's shot.
Nice job by Aaron Gray. With some quickness of foot there. Not his forte, really.
Ramon, can he keep it going? That one's short, but Gray has the offensive rebound, puts up a jumper bending in.
Gray, I don't know, maybe that little time on the bench got his attention. Much more active. Great individual defense at one end, and then on the other end, the offensive rebound and the stick back.
Well, they've stretched it out to 8, the largest lead of the first half. Three-pointer on the way. Good. Knocked down that time by Eugene Lawrence, a 36% three-point shooter. Gets his first. He's averaging 7.6 points a game, and the Panthers lead by 5. 11 minutes to play in the half. It's interesting to watch the teams, the various ways they try to deal with Aaron Gray. But seldom do you see a team play him like this, where it's basically just one guy.
And I kind of understand it. I mean, St. John's has the only 2 3-pointers in the game. Pitt has none, coming off a game they shot 12 of 19. I guess St. John's going to take their chances. Not want to give up easy twos, but not try and give up that shot right there. They're dodging a bullet that time.
Gray had a piece of that rebound, but it winds up in the hands of Avery Patterson.
That was a wide open three, and I know that Norm Roberts didn't want to see that, but as I said, dodging a bullet there.
Mason hands it off to Spears. His shot, line drived up there, comes back into the hands of Ronald Ramon.
They're going to the boards, though, in waves. The Panthers 4 white jerseys that time.
Nearing the midway point of the opening half.
And John's letting them get a little too comfortable now. Early, you saw them trying to push them out of their offense, get them further from the basket. Now, really, I think Pitt's got them on their heels a bit, and they're very much in the flow.
Patterson got a piece of that one. Calhoun will check back in for the Red Storm when we come back. Panthers up by 5. Aaron Gray, who averages a double-double, already has 4 points and 5 boards this afternoon.
He sometimes has had problems with quick moves on the baseline. You see there, not so much. Nice job moving his feet, gets the block. Then at the other end, this was the very same possession. Hustles down the floor, gets the offensive rebound and the stick back, making his presence felt at both ends that time.
35 blocks on the season for the 7-footer Aaron Gray. 2 of 5 shooting. The Panthers as a team shooting just over 40%. And St. John's at 31%. Ramon, this is knocked out of bounds and a foul called. And the foul will go on number 2. Anthony Mason Jr. will pick up his first personal foul. It's only the 4th team foul between the two teams.
Got a guy who shoots it like Ramon, you have to respect.
He thought he got all ball.
Ooh, tough call. Flew at him the first time, recovered. But coming from the back, it's always a dicey situation.
We've had 3 team fouls on the Red Storm and 1 on Pitt. 30 of 36 at the line for Ronald Ramon. He's the one guy on this team, along with Levance Fields. You don't want him at the foul line.
It's a nice thing to have.
Pure shooter.
Yeah, I was going to say, at the end of the game is awfully nice when you know you got a guy you put in his hands. And the numbers justify the confidence.
So far, the advantage inside belongs to Pitt. They lead it by 7. That's a 3-pointer on the way and rims off. Fields will track it down. Patterson tried the 3. And for some reason, the shot clock is not moving.
Everything's off. The game clock and
everything
is
stopped.
Tell Eddie Corbin right in front of us.
It still has not started. Now the clock has started, but we missed quite a bit of time there.
It's a special free basketball Saturday here.
So. We're going to get an extra minute or so in this
extra
game.
Basketball.
Hamilton against Gray, forced it up, and there's the follow. Taking it off the rim and slamming it home is Karan Calhoun. Hamilton is the only one of the 10 starters in this game who has not scored.
But St. John's really having a hard time getting anything on the glass. That was one of the rare exceptions.
Young penetrated but lost control of the basketball. And once again, it was Calhoun coming up with a long lead pass.
Just
too far for Anthony Mason.
He's been really careless with the ball. It's the second one he's thrown to the spectators. And one he almost threw away, just barely was saved by his teammate. He's got to take better care of the basketball. This Pitt team, the rebounding advantage that they've had, they out-rebound their opposition, John. Pitt does by 6 a game. St. John's has gotten out-rebounded on the year so far, so they can't afford to give up free possessions. They're probably talking about the clock situation.
I think they are.
I'm going to guess.
It could be.
The officials, most fans know where that little belt thing
Maybe it got stuck.
With whistle. Could have been a stuck P.
Because when they blow the whistle, that stops the clock. Correct. They don't have to worry about the guy at the scorer's table doing it because it's controlled by the officials. But there were definitely 30 or 40 seconds that nothing happened. One whole possession for Pitt, the clock didn't start.
Yeah, maybe they tried to turn it on at the table and somehow it was overridden by the mechanism that the officials have. I don't know, but they're trying to figure it out right now.
Well, I think they're going to take some time off that 9:16.
Let's see.
When all is said and done.
Well, if they do, I'm going to guess 20. I always pick odd numbers. 22 seconds. Get it down to maybe 8:58.
Well, right. You said you were going to pick odd numbers.
Well, I mean, rather than 30 or 20. I'm getting into a math class. I meant a full integer. I just meant unusual number. Not like a round number 30. Kind of a strange one. Let's see what they come up with.
Okay.
Maybe they're not going to come up with anything.
Maybe not.
Up 8:54. I was close.
Yep.
That's about right.
That's about 25 seconds they took off.
Yeah.
You were 3 seconds off. Come on.
I was in the ballpark.
That's right. You were definitely in the ballpark. Now some pressure from the Red Storm.
They did remove 22 seconds. I hit it right on the head.
Well, see, you're exactly right.
I hit it right on the button, as a matter of fact. Here I was being too humble there. I nailed that.
Nice gets it back to Kendall, and he'll give it up. And then the second time that Young, who does finally get the basket, has lost control. Going to the basket.
Was a bit fortunate for the Panthers. I think that's what they've looked for Kendall. They want him to finish. Watch that. I mean, it's great ball movement. You love their unselfish. Right there, he's got to think, I'm going to take that and flush it and draw the foul. And instead, he made one extra pass, and frankly, it could have been a turnover. But Young, with a good second effort, turned it into a three-point play. But that's the one area about Kendall. For the amount of minutes he plays, he needs to get to the free throw line and needs to have more of a presence in there. He's got the skills, John. You talked about that.
Yes, he does. There's definitely he's got the scoring skills. And Calhoun might have gotten away with travel on that possession. Here's Lawrence working against Young, kicks it, and almost threw that away. He did. It's Cook ahead of the pack off the feed from Ramon. 5 turnovers have really been costly to the Red Storm as they have fallen behind by a dozen. An easy break. An easy basket for Cook off the feed by Ramon, and nothing that the Red Storm can do. Their ball handling is killing them here in the first half.
Lawrence has just been a little careless there. He has an open man, throws it behind him, and it leads to a run out at the other end. That's the worst combination of turnovers. And you not only lose the ball, but it leads to an easy bucket at the other end. He makes a great crossover, Lawrence. Shakes his man to get free down the lane. But then could not make the pass for the easy shot. Now down 12. And the one thing about St. John's, for a veteran team, maybe it's because they have struggled the last few years. As you look at the field goal discrepancy, John, when they've gotten down, it has snowballed on them. They've not had the great ability to quickly turn it around, although they have made some comebacks this year. This is going to be a tough place to do it if they don't get it righted in a hurry.
Most of the Zoo still on their feet, as they have been since the opening tip, and will be until it's over. The Oakland Zoo. Hamilton still has not scored, but he backs his way in and again hits the edge of the backboard. He goes out of bounds. St. John's will keep it. We've got a timeout with 7:49 remaining in the opening half. The Panthers have cruised out to a double-digit lead. Pitt has doubled it up on St. John's. It's 24-12 here with just inside 8 minutes left. Let's take a look at our stat track. See what we graphically come up with. Good shooting by Pittsburgh. That's right about their average at 50%. St. John's going to have to get going a little bit.
Well, and that's an even more disturbing trend for St. John's because in their last 7 Big East games, when they've won the battle on the boards, they're 4-0. When they've lost the battle on the boards, they're 0-3. So good start for Pittsburgh on the glass.
And the Johnnies will have it. Under their own basket. Shot clock at 17. And they get it down low, batted away. And now a trap.
Oh, good recovery out of the kick-out pass to find the shooter. Short shot clock now. They got to go quickly.
It'll be Lawrence. The shot clock's inside 5.
If they know it, don't think they do. That's going to be a violation.
That is a shot clock violation. I think you're right. I thought they probably thought they had the full clock.
Coming out of a timeout if you don't check. And again, not to put too much of it on Eugene Lawrence, but he's really got to have more of a floor presence. He's throwing the ball away, and he was running the offense. He's got to make sure that there's a call there. They've got to go to their quick, short clock set. Every team's got one, and they just ran as if they had a full time clock.
Well, obviously they missed the senior veteran leadership of Darrell Hill. Tipped away, but picked up by the Red
doesn't
Storm.
see it. Trouble.
Yep. They called a travel, not a foul. But Levance Fields had to know he was going to get clocked.
That's taking one for the team because you see that guy. There's a part of you that's thinking, please see me, but he doesn't, and that is just a headlong run. Hello, here I am. Great defensive play by Fields.
And it was called a travel, not a foul. Here's Gray all alone. Jams it home.
I feel like I'm all over Lawrence today, and I don't mean to be, but you have to see the basketball. He's running away. There's never a time on the floor you don't see the ball. Gray ran right behind him. He was in no position to do anything to help because he had his back turned.
An 11-2 run. Lawrence has it.
This is what we've talked about. St. John's gets a little down. They've got to find the wherewithal to dig out here.
Foul is on Cook. That'll be his second. Let's take a look at our Big East leaders. It's brought to you by Hyundai. We're talking about Big East leaders and three-point shooting. It's Pittsburgh. Ronald Ramon. Antonio Graves as well.
How different is that from recent Pittsburgh teams? 2 of the top
different.
4 guys?
Very different.
Pretty impressive. And they still defend it like they have.
Shot too strong. And it's Kendall.
That's
takes
a good
it away from
rebound for
Calhoun.
Kendall. That's a good athletic paddling play.
Here's Fields. Hamilton went after him from behind. And now Cook will bring it back out.
Well, look how comfortable they are on their offense again. St. John's has gotten away from trying to push them out. Again, they're getting a little sagging down the energy, and Pitt's very much in their offense.
Kendall rattles it out. Up with it is Lawrence. Panthers with only 2 fouls and only 2 turnovers so far in the first 15 minutes of this first half. They've stretched out their lead to 26-12, biggest margin in the opening 20 minutes. Now St. John's taking some time in half court. This is Patterson.
Not getting much done, though. A lot of east-west stuff.
Calhoun again. I thought he might have traveled. Hamilton has it stripped on his way up. The foul will go on Graves. He'll pick up his first. What's happening in that double overtime affair between Seton Hall and Rutgers? Yep. We're going to third overtime, or is it still in the second overtime? It's in the second overtime.
Lots of free basketball in New Jersey.
Absolutely.
That was a nice finish with the clock running down. Nice interior pass. And
Hamilton averaging 13.5 a game, coming off a couple of great games, including a double-double against Notre Dame, but he's yet to score here in the first half.
That's a big reason they're struggling.
Ramon checks back in. Wright returns for the Red Storm, along with Calhoun, and Spears will replace Hamilton when he's finished shooting. Young also returns for Pittsburgh.
You talked earlier, though, about what this St. John's, not only these recent wins turning their season around, but what Norm Roberts has done in terms of just locally reconnecting with the feeder schools that for years loved to send their players to St. John's, and for whatever reason there had been a recent disconnect. They have rebuilt a lot of bridges, and that's obviously his hometown. He's a Queens College guy, and he has rekindled those relationships.
Well, 2 of their recruits, Malik Booth and Justin Burrell, from the Queens and the Bronx. Another player, a 6'10 player, Del Coker, coming in from Connecticut, but 2 more from the city, basically, which is, there was a few years, Bob, they didn't have anybody that was from the New York City area.
They had to straighten a lot of things out, and they've done a pretty good job of getting it back on track. Getting to the postseason this year would be a big accomplishment for this team, and they have very realistic hopes to do that.
Yes, they do. They're right in the middle of things as far as the Big East is concerned. First, of course, get back to the tournament. Young from the baseline hits the shot.
This is just what we talked about, though, how comfortable Pittsburgh is now running their offense. They're not getting pushed out at all. Every pass is an easy pass, and they're too good. Too many weapons if you let them keep running it like that.
Lawrence with it. Starts to move down the lane. Runs into traffic. Gets it back to Spears. Now Wright will kick it over to Mason. Anthony Mason Jr. working on Cook. Gets underneath the basket. No place to go. And that one is stripped out of the hands of Calhoun. He got it back. Fought it up, but missed the shot. But a new clock for the Red Storm. 4.5 to play. Lawrence buries the three.
Boy, they did that on sheer effort. That was terrific. Spears getting the rebound in traffic, and then triple teamed finding Lawrence. That's the best place to get a three, is off an offensive rebound. Very hard to rematch up that quickly.
And it is his second three-pointer. And that's the one thing about the Red Storm. The reason they've been more successful of late is because they're working so very hard. Ramon, an air ball. That's a rare miss for him on a three-point try. Drive to the basket and a finish by Antonio Graves. He's got 7 to lead the Panthers' early scoring.
That's the way to get it to the rack. He made his mind up. He was going to finish that play.
Right for 3. Hit the game winner against Notre Dame, and he rattles that one home. Right off the bench, gets his first basket. A 49% three-point shooter.
Well, that's the 4th three for the Red Storm. Pitt still looking for their first. And that's why that strategy, not giving up the threes, but they're giving up a little bit too much of a percentage inside the arc. See those numbers. Advantage to the visitors.
Gray backs him down, then kicks it back. Young will spot for 3 and nail it.
And that time they went away from that philosophy. 2.5 guys, maybe 3 down to Gray, and then a wide open look from the top and an easy one. Good finish.
3 more subs set to return for Pittsburgh, and Hamilton will check back in for the Johnnies. The Panthers do use those 9 guys, Bob.
Alley-oop.
Backdoor pass off the glass and good.
Good delivery that time. Calhoun with the finish.
Good finish by Karan Calhoun. And the 32nd timeout called by Pitt with 2:55 to play. Get those subs in the lineup.
I think Jamie senses, hey, an 11-point lead. They're still playing the good defense. He doesn't want to undo all the good work of this half. Let's get together and figure out how we get to the intermission here.
Yeah, St. John's has made their last 3 baskets to climb back to within 11 after being down by as many as 14.
Now watch this time. Look at the double. Now you'll see bodies. Look, 2. Third guy, Mason, coming from the backside, and that leaves Young wide open at the top. You've either got to really get after him and attack him, or you got to play one-on-one in there. They got caught betwixt and between in the easy 3.
Golf fans and club pros, not too early to start thinking about the 2007 ESPN National Golf Challenge. Log on to ESPNGolf.com to register your team or sign your course up as a qualifying site. Be a part of the search for America's best twosome.
I'm auditioning play-by-play guys to see my partner in that. So how's your game? Are you?
You don't want me on your team.
Well, check another guy off the list.
Yeah.
Because I need a lot of help. I need somebody who's going to carry me. And recruiting is, I was a coach. It's all about recruiting, John.
Very balanced scoring for Pittsburgh. Gray has 8, Young has 8, Graves has 7, but that's kind of been their story. Here's Fields right at the foul line. Ramon will try his 3rd three, and he misses his 3rd. Mason Jr. with a rebound.
But still so easy in the lane. I mean, they're just getting whatever they want now effortlessly, and that's not what St. John's worked on in practice. They worked on disrupting that offensive rhythm.
Hamilton comes out to help out Lawrence. Get it to Wright. And again, Lawrence, get it inside. That's an offensive foul. Sam took a seat rather quickly that time, but he was bumped, no doubt. It's a foul on Hamilton. Back with more after this. Here in the first half. They jumped out early, scored the first 4 points. So the Red Storm has never had the lead here at the Peterson Event Center, which is, Bob, a beautiful facility, isn't it?
It really is, and it's a great basketball viewing venue. I love the fact that while it goes up, everybody has a great viewing angle to see the floor. It really is a wonderful fan-friendly place.
Well, we mentioned the Mount Vernon boys basketball team in attendance playing a tournament here in the Pittsburgh area, but Oak Hill Academy team is also here this afternoon to watch some basketball. They'll both be playing tomorrow, not each other, but they will be playing on Sunday.
That's the first segment that the Red Storm have won. They lost the first 3 segments by 3, 2, and 7. They won that one by 1, so maybe clawing back in.
That's an offensive foul the other way. Levon Kendall will pick up his first. The redshirt senior from Vancouver, British Columbia, tried to drive the baseline, was cut off, and committed a foul.
Take a look again. Great hustle to get there and help from the weak side. We saw Hamilton take one for the team, and certainly no lack of effort on either side.
Eugene Lawrence, the team captain, with the basketball. Fields out on him. Hamilton way out, matched up against Levon Kendall. Hamilton from deep in the corner starts to drive inside, kicks it back to Calhoun. He'll put up a 3, bending out and tipped into the hands of Levance Field.
Don't make a whole lot of step back up 3s off the dribble. They usually come when the ball's being kicked around out to the shooter and get it in rhythm. That's a tough one to make.
Well, bad pass by Ramon, but it's saved by Aaron Gray. Finds Fields. He had 6 against Cincinnati. He misses that one. Loose ball. Aaron Gray will track it down for Pitt.
And Kendall in there with a hustle play. Got a hand on it. And the crowd appreciates the effort of the 2 big fellas.
Counting down to the final minute of the opening half. Stay with us at halftime. We'll have the Big East Wire. We'll check out a full day of college basketball. That ball off the hands of Benjamin comes up short. And we have a minute to play.
This is where the NBA guys, if St. John's would shoot it, they'll go 2-for-1 possessions, but they may run themselves into just a 1-for-1.
Now you've got Gray out there on Hamilton, and they switch off. Lawrence, as the shot clock winds down to 10 on a drive, and that's the foul on Aaron Gray. Could not recover in time to get to him. Used his body well to shield the ball and pick up the foul. He'll go to the line. Again, coming up at halftime, and that's just 39 seconds away. We'll have all the scores from the Big East and the top 25. And, of course, highlights and stats from the opening 20 minutes of our Big East basketball matchup. The only time this year these 2 teams will play. Pitt will play West Virginia, Marquette, and Georgetown twice. And it's not an easy task for them this year. St. John's plays Syracuse, PC, and DePaul twice.
Is the league changing that, though, next year, going to a single round robin with one team being played twice just to make it even, so you'll get 16 games, 8 at home and 8 away. And I think that's a lot fairer. And frankly, I think all the teams, the matchups are all so attractive now. They can all stand on their own. You don't have to. There was a little concern at the beginning, keep those natural rivalries, but you know, everybody wants to see all these teams play.
That one is well off the mark and over the back. There's a lane violation. It is. It is a lane violation. Somebody got in there too quickly. Panthers lead by 10.
Now, as we talked about, John, by and large, they can hold for 1. There's only 1.8 seconds differential on the clock. So I always want, I mean, if you come down, you think about it, if you got a minute, even if you take a bad shot, it's a free bonus shot if you hurry, because you'll get the ball back, and then you can still take as much time as you want. And just some of the pro teams do a very good job of, for some reason, it hasn't really translated well to college.
And Will Bush, a referee in conversation with the folks at the table.
They should put time on the clock. If it was a violation, that no time should have run off. They ran some clock as if that rebound was a contested rebound, but as a violation, it should go back to what it was when the free throw was shot, which I think was 39, if I'm not mistaken. So
I will take your word for it. You've been on the money so far here in the first half.
I hit this one, too. I'm buying a lottery ticket on the way home. I think it was 39 and some tenths, which that's an easy one to find because the computer has the play-by-play. That time it should be right on it. There it is, 39.3.
There you go. Well, you're 2 for 2. But let's not keep doing this the whole afternoon, okay? Let's just let the clock run and play basketball. Here comes Fields against Mason Jr. Now there's about a 4-second difference between shot clock and game clock, and the Panthers will take their time. Trying to close out with at least a double-digit lead. Each team has made 5 fouls in the first half, so we have not had a lot of fouls called. We'll see if that changes in the second half. Fields will work it all the way down now. 10 on the shot clock.
See where they go. If you're smart here, you get one quick move and look for a kick. Don't want to go too soon.
Fields kicks it to the corner. Young.
That's too soon. St. John's has time for a shot if they get it.
A loose ball. Fields gets it back. He'll put up a shot. That's blocked. Gray at the buzzer. No good.
Wow. Kind of dodged a bullet there because they went way too early.
Well, the Panthers did not score in the final 3 minutes and 25 seconds of the opening half, but they still have a double-digit halftime lead. We will begin our halftime coverage from the Peterson Event Center on the campus of the University of Pittsburgh after a break. Come back to the Peterson Event Center. We're in Pittsburgh, and the Panthers and the Red Storm have played the first half of basketball. First up at halftime, ESPN News My Call. We'll take a look at Marquette super sophomore Dominique James in today's edition of the Big East Wire.
Dominique James, last year's Big East Rookie of the Year, took the conference by storm in his freshman season. He averaged more than 16 points a game in league play. James has carried on his level of excellence to the 06-07 season. The sophomore point guard has led his Marquette team to an 18-4 record, second best in the league. James has been named the Big East Player of the Week 2 weeks in a row now. But to him, the team's success matters much more than any individual accolades.
I'm just worried about the team right now. That's the only thing I'm worried about. I know that along with my team's success, that individual accomplishments will come along with that. So that's my only focus right now.
This season, the Richmond, Indiana native is averaging just under 17 points a game while shooting better than 42% from the floor. Those are very good numbers from the point guard position. But Coach Tom Crean believes some of James's other attributes are even more valuable than his offensive prowess.
He's an outstanding defensive guard and a great leader, and just has great chemistry with our club, especially because a couple of his best friends on this club are his sophomore teammates, Wesley Matthews and Jerome McNeil.
The camaraderie within this team is so great. I mean, we've got a lot of chemistry. We're probably not the most talented group, but we got to have a certain bond within each other. Just go out there and play team basketball. That's what we do best. We got a lot of guys that fill a lot of different positions and bring a lot to the table. So we're just gonna have to just work together and let everybody fulfill their roles.
Terrific player Dominique James. Plenty of college basketball action on this Saturday afternoon. We'll check some other Big East scores when we come back. And as halftime continues, and from the Peterson Event Center, let's check out our Big East Coaches Spotlight. Is brought to you by Oppenheimer Funds. You talk about fantastic coaching careers. You're talking about one Jim Boeheim.
Well, and they're there again, and his 1,000th career game tonight at Louisville. That's amazing. Even more amazing, that great one-loss record. Hall of Fame, national championship, cancer survivor, and just a guy that has been a great ambassador for this conference.
Certainly has. Went to Syracuse and never left. He's been there ever since. He was a player there and a terrific coach there. In the first half of play, for St. John's, 3 turnovers by Lawrence. He also made a couple of threes to provide what little offensive spark they had in that first half.
He's made up of it for being a little careless with the basketball. 3 of their 9 turnovers. But they have won the battle of the three-point line 4-1, and he's the main reason why. You see the 3 there from the wing. He has made from behind the arc 2 of 3. This is a good look right from the top. His shooting has kept them in it, especially when you've only got 22 points scored. For Pittsburgh, should we be surprised it's been the big fella inside? Great block there. He runs the floor, gets a bucket at the other end. And then you see with a nice left hand off the window, but he's got a lot of help from his teammates as well after the good slam there. Sam Young's been a guy who's been able to step up for them. He has made their only three-pointer in the half. A little mid-range jumper there, and then he got the nice 3 off the kick-out pass from the big guy right from the top. He knocks it down, and Young wound up with 8 points in 9 minutes of play.
Well, the bench with that 9-man starting team, as Jamie likes to call it, has always done a good job. Shooting percentage favors Pittsburgh overall. Rebounding edge not as big as you might think at halftime. There is a big difference, though, in the turnovers and the points in the paint. Both teams are back on the court. We've got 20 more minutes of Big East basketball coming up from Pittsburgh. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Interesting, Ed Corbett coming over and explaining a little more about those whistles that are attached to the belts that are attached to the computer. There's actually a microphone on the end.
Did you know that?
I did not know that.
I often wondered. For the fans who don't know, the officials wear a little pack on their belt, and it's connected to something on their lanyard. And when they blow the whistle, there's a little microphone on the lanyard. And that triggers the little mechanism on their belt to shut the clock off.
That's right. But something malfunctioned a couple of times in the first half. Gray against Spears. Puts up a jumper. That's too strong, but Kendall on the weak side gets it back out of there for Pitt. Good job, and this is a 3 on the way. Bending, no good. And again, tracked down by Graves. So the Panthers will get a 3rd crack at it to start the second half.
That's just absolutely playing with fire here for the visitors.
Kendall from outside. And it rattles in.
Well, that's too many chances. They played one-on-one on Gray, did what they needed to. That means everybody else should be blocking out. They not only got a 2nd chance, got a 3rd chance, and Kendall made him pay.
35-23, 12-point advantage. Biggest lead in the first half for Pitt was 14. Red Storm has never been in front. Gray with a bump and a foul. That's kind of a senseless foul right there. He is the first player, though, with 2 fouls in the game.
And that's something they do a great job of. Their big guys hedging out on the ball screen. But, John, you talk about the 3 possessions there and the possession differential. There was the rebounding differential at the half, and then St. John's made 9 turnovers to just 3 for Pitt. That's a lot of extra possessions for one team, especially in their building.
Mason from outside. That comes right back out into the hands of Fields. Numbers are not there, 2 on 4, but they push it ahead to Cook. Up and under and in.
Too easy. Too easy. St. John's maybe looking a little discouraged by that 3 offensive rebound barrage to start the second half. Got to dig in here.
And they've matched the biggest lead of the game with a 14-point edge here in the second half. Hamilton with only 2 free throws. He really hasn't gotten involved in the offense very much. Lawrence working on Graves and is fouled on the way in. So Graves will pick up his second foul. We had only 10 total fouls between the 2 teams in the first half. And a couple of early whistles on the Panthers here in the second half.
Pitt won the rebounding battle by 5 at the half and the turnover battle by 6. That's 11 extra possessions. We've already seen them get a 1 possession of 4 shots, so they've added to that.
That's short. Into the hands of Graves. Saves it to Cook. Back comes Pitt, ranked number 9 in the country. They've been as high as number 2 for a couple of weeks, matching their highest ever ranking. That time, Aaron Gray tried to go up and under, couldn't do it, and again, it rolls out the Fields. And a fresh clock. Gray this time is mugged by Aaron Spears. He'll pick up his second, and Gray will go to the line. Halftime situation now at Notre Dame, and it's Villanova leading by 4. It's a big game for those 2 teams right there.
Is that a halftime score, or are they going to quarters like the NBA? Because that's Notre Dame team can fill it up in a hurry, and Villanova's got some firepower, and there's only 46 combined points.
How about West Virginia at playing Marshall and Charleston the other day? Had 21 in the first half, but they made up for it in the second half with 56 points.
Well, maybe we'll see that there. I don't know. We've seen a lot of that in the Big East. It seems like, I don't know whether its teams are deliberately doing it to stay out of foul trouble, but they're much more aggressive after the intermission. I've seen that in at least a half a dozen games that I've either been part of the broadcast team or watched on television, but that's not unusual.
9 points now for Gray. Very balanced Pitt scoring. Nobody really standing out. Here's Wright off the bench. And won the game against Notre Dame. A move by Hamilton. He kicks it to Lawrence. He'll put up a 3 from deep in the corner, and it rolls into the hands of Gray. Fields ahead of the pack. Will go up and lay it in.
Well, this is just Pitt basketball. Great defense. 1 shot and done at their defensive end, and on the offensive end, lots of second and third opportunities.
It's 40-23. The Oakland Zoo happy because their team has the biggest lead of the afternoon. And breaking away to score the basket is Fields. We'll be right back. Pitt has scored all the points in the second half, a 7-0 run to start, and they've opened up a 17-point lead with 17:32 to play. And as you said, some of them are rather easy for the Panthers this afternoon.
Good defense, which is what they do, and then they've just dominated the backboards, and that led to the easy run out. They hold opponents on the year to 40% shooting, and tonight in the first half they held St. John's to 33%, and then you see they know what to do with it off of the miss. You know, with a great run out.
You know, Bob, it's tough to win in this league if you shoot 33%.
And you're getting out rebounded, and you're making more turnovers.
That's true. It's not a good combination. It's all Pitt in the second half, and all categories. Lawrence now will hand it off to Mason. He dribbles it off his foot. Loose ball. And Fields finally comes out with it, and then he turns it over. And that's a foul on Aaron Gray as he made contact with Wright. So Aaron Gray is probably going to sit. He's got 3. Sam Young immediately gets up off that Pitt bench.
Take a look. Just hustle play here. Nice job of reacting to the basketball. That's why you always have to see the basketball. Mason saw it, got 1 finger on it, just enough to deflect it to where his teammate could get it and draw the foul on Gray.
And it's tough to slow down that big body once it gets in motion. And he just grabbed the opponent, picked up his 3rd foul. Hamilton inside. Calhoun from straight away comes up short. Fields the rebound. Panthers continue to dominate the boards in the second half. The Red Storm is yet to score. This is Cook inside Kendall, who will play in the 5 spot. And Fields along the baseline, kicks it back out. He decides to drive, pulls up, and that one is partially blocked. back comes Lawrence. Little stop and go move and a dish off to Hamilton, who jams it home. Nice. The first field goal of the day for Hamilton.
Well, Lawrence, as we talked about it, well, he shot it well, but he turned the ball over and didn't take care of the ball as well as he needed to. That time took care of the ball beautifully and got an easy one for his teammate. Finally gets Hamilton not off the schneid because he'd had 2 free throws, but his first field goal, as you said.
Ends that 7-0 run. Kendall with a screen. Here's Young. Back to Graves from the baseline. Missed the shot. And back quickly comes Lawrence. He'll hustle it up. Looks inside to Calhoun. Goes instead to Hamilton, who shoots a 3. And that comes back and it's tipped back out. So good job that time of knocking it back into the backcourt was right. And so a fresh clock for the Johnnies.
Both these teams thrive on hustle plays. Pittsburgh's got a little bit more offensive firepower this year and today.
Mason will put up a 3 from straight away, bending off and into the hands of Young. Another rebound for Pittsburgh.
And then they just march it up, and they're in their offense. Still 30 seconds on the shot clock. You got to defend them a long time if they choose to.
Young for 3, hits the deck, no foul called, and the rebound pulled down by Mason. He dribbles it all the way up. Then they reset to Lawrence. Almost 5 minutes gone in the second half, and it's been dominated by Pittsburgh. They've outscored the Johnnies 7-2 in the second half. Ronald Ramon and Keith Benjamin set to return. Lawrence for his 3rd 3-pointer. That one's no good, and there's Young, so strong with a rebound.
I used to have a coach who said, do not mistake activity for achievement. That's what we're getting here. They're going up and down. A lot of effort, but not a lot of execution, and nobody's making a shot.
Cook gets inside, kicks it to the corner. Young's 3 is going to be well short. And again, Mason has the rebound.
Let's go to the other end.
It's neither team putting it in the hole, and a bump foul. That'll be the second on Mike Cook. But Cook picks up the foul. It comes at 14:42 left in the ball game. Panthers in front by 15. 15-point lead as we come back to the Peterson Event Center with 14:42 to play. And as we come back, let's take a look at our select stats brought to you by Select Sector Spiders. Very poor shooting for St. John's in the second half. They've attempted 7 3-pointers in this half too, Bob, and have not made one.
I don't think that little stretch of basketball the last 2 or 3 minutes will make either team's highlight film.
It sure will not.
Not only the shooting, but I don't think it's been great defense. It's just kind of like you said, quick trigger, take threes. Haven't got anything to go. One and done. No, except for early when Pittsburgh had that flurry. Not a lot of second chance points, so the game has kind of been stagnated. But that's to some degree fine with the Panthers when you got a 15-point lead.
Absolutely. Here's Wright, hands it off to Lawrence. Red Storm controls the basketball. They've had a tough time finding the bottom of the basket here in the second half. Inside Hamilton. Jump look, bending short and rebounded by Kendall.
No double. He's got to finish that. That's their go-to guy, and that's a good look.
Here's Benjamin. Ronald Ramon will give it up to Young and then get it back with 14:10 to play in the ball game.
Hamilton a 49% shooter with that miss. Now 1 for 7 on the day.
Ronald Ramon missed all 3 of his 3-point attempts in the first half. He kicks it to Young. That's a 3. And that one's good.
That's a nice job by Ramon. He hasn't had the hot hand coming in. He has. He was 12 for 16 coming in of his last 16 threes. But 0 for 3 today, as you pointed out. And he finds a guy who has been scoring. That puts Young in double figures.
Young with 11. And the Panthers stretch that lead up now to 18. The largest.
Oh, great block.
Block there. Back the other way comes Keith Benjamin. In front of his old high school team, and his old high school coach, Bob Chimino, are in attendance, along with the Oak Hill Academy team. Lawrence was fouled. On his way in, no shot. And the foul will go on Graves. He'll pick up his 3rd. Biggs will check back in as Kendall goes to the bench for the Panthers. Wright will sit down for St. John's as Cook returns as well. On the bench for the last few minutes with 3 fouls is Aaron Gray. But the Panthers still have opened up their largest margin, 18.
St. John's still only 2
points. Nice play to
anymore. I was going to say only 2 points this half, but quickly doubled their output. Good job on the baseline out of bounds play.
Ronald Ramon, who has 2 free throws, and that's all he's got to show for his production tonight after the great games he's had. But Young picking it up again with 11. He has both of the Pitt 3-pointers.
That's the beauty of this team. They do not have to have one guy get points for them. They have a lot of weapons. And that's different than they have been in recent years.
Cook with 10 on the shot clock. Young down the lane he comes, up and off the glass, no good. Just rolled over the iron and into the hands of Hamilton. And that's going to be a foul on Benjamin, as Anthony Mason hit the deck. Their legs got tangled up.
You kind of have to call that because like pass interference that takes away any chance of the guy to catch it.
16 fouls now already in this half on Pitt. Only one on the Red Storm, and that's a long-range 3. It rattles into the hands of Cook. There's the foul difference in the second half. Ramon with it. Keeps his dribble. It's a guy that started a lot last year, playing off the bench this year.
And doing a great job of accepting that role and really giving them a boost when he comes in.
Drive there. He protected the basketball. Goes back to Cook. He'll back out with 10 on the shot clock. A long half-court possession here for Pitt, and the shot clock's at 5.
Cook looks frustrated.
Ramon, a long 3, and he buries it. Where's that been? Wow.
Well, that's why they wanted it back out the top with the short shot clock. Throw it to that guy, and he'll throw in a rainbow.
It is the 13th 3-pointer that he has scored in the last 5 games. And he's been very effective. The timeout is called by the Red Storm. They're going to get Aaron Spears back in the lineup. And the Panthers now back up by 19. Their largest lead of the day.
Now this is good because it gives your coverage, gives your kick coverage group a chance to get down there as long as that thing's in the air.
That's right, a little hang time.
That is Ray Guyish. Look at that. You got a cameraman's got to jerk that camera up to get the ball in the picture. But nothing excites the crowd more than a deep, long, right in the center of the well 3. Look at that. That is a great release.
Nothing but net on that one. The Red Storm, a really problem offensively. 2 for 12 in the second half, and they've missed 8 3-point attempts.
Now that little margin, one area they had an advantage in the first half behind the 3-point line, and that is evaporating, and now they are on life support. This is getting away from them.
Lawrence against Ramon, drives in, bending, good. Nice drive by Eugene Lawrence. He's got 9 points. Leads the scoring for the Red Storm, and the baskets have been tough to come by in the second half. Lawrence runs with Ramon.
Now they're getting the kind of perimeter pressure that they wanted. Well, they didn't want the foul. Something they worked on in practice, trying to really extend that perimeter defensive pressure.
46-29, Pitt. Panthers in control with 11:20 to play here in Pittsburgh. Let's check out now the Red Lobster nothing but net shot of the game. You might remember this one. It just happened.
Yeah, well, hey, play so nice. We watched it twice. Look at that. That is with a short shot clock, just a simple high ball screen, and Ramon with the great range, and he's been on fire.
So Ramon with his first 3-pointer of the afternoon. Gets him a total of 5 points.
That's how you know how good this Pitt team is. This is what I call a time clock win. They just kind of came today, punched the time clock, really not playing spectacularly in any area, and winning by 17 against a team that's come in with a lot of momentum, John. They're coming off some big wins.
A lot of fire. Those victories were back-to-back. Tight victories over Syracuse and Notre Dame. Biggs will try a 3 and hit it.
And that's when you know you got a good ball club. You just bring the lunch bucket, get it done, and all of a sudden you look up and you're up 20.
And for Biggs, that is his 3rd 3-pointer of the year. He's 3 for 9 in and out of the hands of Calhoun. But Benjamin runs the show. Now he'll give it up to Ramon. They're in the midway point in the second half. It's been also kind of a quiet crowd here today. Good pass on the backdoor move by Ramon. Cook set him up and he finished it off.
And this is where Norm Roberts, in all likelihood, they're not going to come back and win this game in 10 minutes, but you can't let all the goodwill that's been generated around your team over the last couple of weeks go away in this last 10 minutes. They got to do some things well.
Patterson with a miss. Gray, who's back in there with a rebound. Aaron sat for quite a while after picking up his 3rd foul. But he's back on the court. And the Panthers, I think, beginning to feel it a little bit from outside. Keith Benjamin, the Mount Vernon native, playing in front of his old high school coach, hits the basket, and the Panthers have really opened it up now. And now they'll make a little bit of noise. Golf fans, club pros, it's not too early to start thinking about the 2007 ESPN National Golf Challenge. Log on to ESPNGolf.com. You can register your team or sign up for your course as a qualifying site. Be a part of the search for America's best twosome.
A couple of interesting conversations that relate to today. One with Rick Pitino, one with Glenn Breaker, the assistant for St. John's. Rick was saying how difficult this league is because the teams play such a wildly diverse style. There are some conferences, as Norm Roberts told me about when he was in the Big Ten, it's pretty much the same thing. They play half-court man, they smash you in the mouth, and from one night to the next, it's not that different. Here you go from the 1-3-1 of West Virginia to Jim Boeheim's zone to Rick Pitino's press to the great man-to-man at Pittsburgh. And I think that really makes it difficult, short turnarounds, and some matchups are just bad for teams. And this has really been a bad matchup for St. John's. The things Pitt does well really exploits their weaknesses.
Not a good matchup for Alabama as they fall to Arkansas. That's a final, and in the second half they're underway and tied in South Bend. From the side, the basket by Hamilton. He picked it up a little bit in the second half. He has 3 field goals in this half. But the Panthers are in control. We are past the midway point of the second half.
You know what else they've done well, John? Out of timeouts. Hamilton's got 2 buckets. Lawrence has 1. They've got it to their key guys in set plays out of timeouts. It's just, he needs about 40 more timeouts.
Gray gets inside, goes to the left hand. He now has double figures points with 11. It'll be a short turnaround for Pitt. They'll be on the road to Philadelphia tomorrow, playing Notre Dame on Monday, or excuse me, playing Villanova on Monday.
Perfect example of an added challenge of this conference.
Hamilton outside will put up a shot. Bending short, rebound loose underneath and into the hands of Ronald Ramon. He looks to Levance Fields, who's back on the court. Levance sitting a bit in the second half. Almost lost his dribble, but gets it to Ramon. Another 3 by Biggs, and that one's short. Rebound pulled down by Avery Patterson. This is Lawrence with it. He'll spot for 3. Here's Fields, the rebound. It's 55-31. Inside, count the basket. Benjamin able to finish off the Fields assist.
Take a look, a little left-hand shovel, sees the crease and goes and gets the bucket and the possible 3-point play. They are a confident bunch right now.
They certainly are. They have run out to their biggest lead of the day, and Benjamin has a couple of baskets, 4 points. He's not been a good free throw shooter, and he proves it right there. He's only 9 at the line. 9 of 20 shooting free throws. Foul's going to go on Biggs. He'll pick up his first. And they're in the bonus. That's the 7th team foul. They will be shooting from here on out, the final 8:21 of this one. And I'm sure Coach Roberts is a little concerned after 2 spirited efforts against quality teams. He comes in here and basically they've been kind of flat.
Well, you mentioned it. Last year it took 6 Big East wins to make the tournament. They have 2 now. Assuming they don't win this, it would drop them to 2 and 5. They got to find a way to get perhaps 4 more. And where do they get them? You start looking at the schedule. Georgetown next for them at home at the Garden.
And a reach-in foul on Anthony Mason. That's his second. It's 57-31. A 26-point lead for the Panthers. They had a 14-point lead in the first half. They've had a pair of 7-0 runs here in the second half. And that's why they've opened up this big lead. Fields, a couple of Red Storm defenders chasing him. Calhoun was trying to figure out who he's supposed to guard. Levon Kendall against Hamilton. Goes back to Fields. Fields just holds it. Now goes to Biggs. 15 on the shot clock. Turn around. Good.
That's nice spacing, tempo, aggressive tempo, but not rushed. And a good finish, of course, which made the whole thing work.
Mason on the drive. Loose ball. Gets it back, puts it up, bending off. No good. but he's fouled on the play. Take us to a break. 59-31 Pitt. Doubling it up on St. John's at the 7:28 mark of the second half. That makes that young Pitt fan very happy. Let's take a look now at a game-changing performance. It's brought to you by Pontiac.
Well, this is a perfect indication of why this team is so dangerous. Sam Young, you see this was the only three-pointer they had in the first half. The nice pass out by Gray. This was a nice delivery by Ramon to find him in the corner. He's got a couple of threes, 11 points. And again, on any given night, any of the starting 9 capable of going in double figures.
And all 9 have scored so far this afternoon. The Panthers have scored 33 points in the second half already. St. John's has scored 31 in the game. I'll make it 32.
Mason, a guy who has been one of the instrumental guys in this turnaround for St. John's, but he has struggled today scoring, just 1 of 7 from the field.
And he has 5 points overall. He does have a 3-pointer and those 2 free throws. Fields will draw the double team quickly to Kendall. And then ahead to Benjamin. And Fields once again.
Well, they did
run the show.
They did a nice job of that against Cincinnati in their last game. No matter what the Bearcats threw them, great spacing, great ball movement. Again, look at the good spacing here.
Jump hook off the glass, too short. Rebound Calhoun. Gets it ahead to Mason. This is Calhoun with it. Quickly gets rid of it into the hands of Avery Peterson. Hamilton against Gray tried to go inside, and somehow, even though it wasn't a real good pass, it wound up in the hands of Calhoun, who puts in his 6th point.
I don't think it was a pass at all. I think he just lost the ball, but good lucky break that time for St. John's. Look at the good spacing though. Look how quickly against the press and right into their offense. Still 25 on the shot clock. They really dictate now. Do they choose to go fast? Do they choose to run some time? And they're in control.
I think they'll probably take their time, won't they?
It's like they are. Look for a shot here off a good screen.
Fields for 3.
It was a nice screen. Look at the little things that Kendall does. Gave him a good screen. Fields got a wide open look at it. That was good possession.
He had half of those 3-pointers that they poured in against Cincinnati, against the Bearcats. That's his first this afternoon. Panthers have made 5 3-pointers after making only 1 in the first half. Wright gets to the baseline and then skips it all the way out. From the foul line, Mason buries it.
The Mason that they've needed to get something going for them. Patterson is the guy who's been quiet. He's been over 42% in 3-point shooting the last 4 games. He has 1 lonely 2-point field goal on the day tonight.
And that came in the first half, so he has not scored in the second half. Just a little over 5 minutes to go. Levon Kendall with his 3rd field goal.
As you say, John, he has such a nice release there. You think he's capable of shooting a higher percentage than he has, but still a lot of basketball left this season. But if he can step it up, that's one area they could really get a boost.
From outside, that one will go. It's a 2. Calhoun has 8, the freshman from Brooklyn. A 19-a-game scorer in high school. He's closing in on matching his career high in collegiate basketball. Ramon will take some time off the clock. Kendall to Benjamin to Fields. And there's a little baseline jumper that's buried by Aaron Gray. They're making it look really easy, don't you think?
Well, this is what we talked about at the top. St. John's worked all in practice about getting them away from the basket, disrupting their rhythm, because when they are in rhythm, there's a lot of weapons.
From outside, short. Aaron Gray, the rebound.
And they are in rhythm right now, and you see, as you said, John, how easy they're making it look.
And he's a double-double again. 13 points, 10 rebounds for the senior from Emmaus, Pennsylvania. Who thought about going to the pros, decided to come back because they had one goal in mind, and that's to go deep in the NCAAs. And somehow Gray kept it alive for Kendall. They'll kick it to Fields. He'll shoot a 3. Too strong. And Kendall again is fouled. Levon Kendall doing a lot of the dirty work here.
And you need a guy like that. That's a glue that holds it together, and the crowd appreciates it. And there will be wholesale substitutions for the home team, as Jamie Dixon knows. And we have to play again in 2 days.
That's right. They'll be playing Villanova on Monday. So they will go to the bench now. And we'll see some new faces out there. Doyle Hudson, who's on the honor roll here at Pittsburgh, will check into the lineup. Biggs is back in. Young has returned. Cook is still out there. And handling the inbounds pass is one of the starters, Antonio Graves. Still 4:10 to play. 66-39. Cook at the foul line. Reverses to Biggs. This is Cook. Short jumper. Good. Cook hit the deck. And he gets the basket. He's got 8.
And another one made it look easy. Just backed him in. Said, I want to get the ball here. When I do, I'm going to shoot a fadeaway. That's exactly what he did.
Torres from outside. That's too strong. Loose ball. Tracked down by Graves. And the Panthers get another rebound.
You mentioned about the postseason run, and that's certainly not talking out of school. That is the one thing separating, as great respect as this Pitt program has, the one thing that really put the exclamation point on it is an air ball there.
And it's out of bounds underneath. So we'll take a break. Stay with us. Today's Big East game is brought to you by Pontiac, official performance machines of the NCAA. Select Sector Spiders. Start weaving a stronger portfolio today. Visit us on the web at sectorspdrs.com or call 1-800-THE-AMEX. By Advance Auto Parts. For the best parts, people, and prices, we're ready in advance. And by PNC Bank. With PNC's new performance checking, make every ATM in the world free. We're playing as we come back to the Peterson Events Center on the campus of the University of Pittsburgh. Panthers comfortably in front. And they throw it away. In the backcourt, it's going to be chased down by Mason. Then he kicks it out of bounds. Ouch. It has not been a good day for Norm Roberts' Red Storm team.
Joe, we talked during the break, and again, I don't think it's any secret. This place is packed, this beautiful, sparkling, terrific arena. Their record in the Big East, you can't run the baseline after a violation.
You cannot, and he did, and it's a travel.
They've got an unbelievable, I mean, take your pick of numbers. They're 76-7 in this building, a 91% winning percentage, 30-6 in the Big East here. They've won Big East championships, nationally ranked in the top 10. What's the one thing missing is that Final Four appearance.
Deep into the tournament.
And they know it.
They usually get through the first round, and they run into a mid-major, and that's where they have a problem.
And that is, it may not be fair. Practice probably not fair, but it is the reality, and I think they must sense it. It's something that they'll try and take care of this year.
Hudson is fouled. That'll go on Aaron Spears. That'll be 3 on him. Take a look at our upcoming schedule of games brought to you by Advance Auto Parts. For the best parts, people, and price, we're ready in advance. For St. John's, it's not going to get easier. Georgetown is next on the horizon. Then maybe a couple of winnable games. You don't know in this conference.
Everything is tough, but you're right. When you go into the season, those are the ones you look at. The teams that right now are on the outside looking in have to take care of business there. Pittsburgh's got those two dreaded 2-letter words next 2 games, ats.
Yep, that's always a problem, and that one won't go. Those are the first foul shots of the year for Doyle Hudson, and he misses both of them. Hudson playing in his 11th game. He scored 8 points. Torres gives it up to Mason. He'll shoot a 3. That rims off at the rebound. And the putback is up and good off the left hand of Aaron Spears. For Spears, he averages only 3.4 points a game, and he has only 4. So he's not really an offensive performer. This is Young. Shot the game clock at 2:20 and rolling. The Panthers have been in control. St. John's has never led. It was a 10-point game at halftime, and then the Panthers put together a 7-0 run to start the second half. They later had another 7-0 run and a 6-0 run. So it'll be the bonus now.
Well, you talk about just how good Pittsburgh has been over the last 6 years. Take a look at those numbers.
Amazing, isn't it?
I mean, 151-36. That is absolutely among the elite of the elite. And yet, fans tend to remember March.
That's right. They remember how many games you played. Did you get to the Elite 8, the Sweet 16? And something their neighbors 60 miles to the south have been able to do the last couple of years. And the Panthers, despite their lofty records, have not been able to go deep in the tournament.
Well, they're going deep into the bench here, though. A good hand for Cook. Mike Cook, as he makes his way to the bench, as well as Sam Young, who's had a fine game.
Well, it is Maurice Poland playing in his 8th game. Jeff Risk also playing in his 8th game. And they are in to finish it up in what is commonly known garbage time with just over 2 minutes to go. And this one has been over for a while.
Somebody who played in those minutes, I never refer to it that way.
Me either. That was your chance to shine.
It's a chance. These guys work just as hard in practice, and if then one of them scores, the place will go crazy. And I always tried to coach that way too. You know, I always hated guys that all of a sudden their starters are out and they're sitting on the bench having a cup of coffee with the assistants. You know, these guys deserve to be coached too, and I like Jamie doing that. Jamie's up off the bench, calling plays. And that leads to good chemistry. And you know what? Somewhere down the road, you never can tell when you'll need a guy who has been out of the spotlight for a long time.
That is true. 8th point for the sophomore from Memphis. Anthony Mason Jr. at the foul line for St. John's. Otoje Abit is going to come into the line. It's interesting. The walk-ons for St. John's have the most difficult names to pronounce.
I think Norm said they did that on purpose. They felt their team was too generic and they wanted to make us have to work for our money. So
Otoje Abit is in. And 2 at the line for Mason. He'll depart as Devin Mayo is checked in. Handling the inbounds play is Yesalonis. Thomas Yesalonis will try to defend. This is Risk, and he is a favorite here. Should have seen it not too long ago when he got his first basket of the year. The place went nuts.
Let's see if they want to play for him.
And Jamie is still coaching.
I love that.
From behind, Poland had it, lost it, got it back, gets a new dribble.
Nice move.
And nice basket by Doyle Hudson.
That's a great baseline spin and finish.
70-44 in the final minute 30 at the Peterson Event Center, where the Panthers are about to go 11-1 here in this building. Their only loss was to Marquette. They are tough to beat here at home.
That's a little, feels the presence, sells it to the middle and takes it back to the baseline and makes the good finish. And both these coaches, you know, these are things that fans don't appreciate enough. No secret X's and O's, not very many of those. This is when they do the job with their teams. Norm Roberts encouraging his team in a rebuilding situation, and Jamie Dixon still, as we mentioned, coaching his guys. And I like that on both sidelines.
That's a 3, and it's short. Yesalonis had the rebound, but Graves took it away from him. 6-point game in the second half with Villanova leading on the road. The Irish, who fell at the buzzer to St. John's in their previous game. We're in the final minute. Risk with it.
Nice delivery. Good pass. They're trying to get some guys shots and passing up obvious looks.
And they throw it away. Graves tried to get it to Risk in the corner. And Jeff's folks are here for every game.
Well, that's the. Again, those are all the things, you know, when they ask people what you miss about coaching, those are the things you miss as much as anything. Those kinds of relationships that are not talked about on talk shows and columns a lot. But this place is, it's gotten electric since Risk has come in the game.
Yes, it has. They've been pretty quiet all day. Of course, they've been in front from the beginning. Loose ball, scramble is on. And Mayo controls. Baseline jumper goes. Ricky Torres with his first field goal. 70-46. Here's Risk. And Risk is out here on the court. Nice speed. He sets up Doyle Hudson. He was out here 2.5 hours before the game, practicing with one of the players being redshirted, Austin Wallace, and they were working hard.
Yes, they were. He put in a great effort. And those are the things that contribute to the kind of success they've had here.
That'll do it. 72-46. St. John scored 23 points in each half. The Panthers put on a strong performance early in the second half. They built a huge lead, got it up to 28, 29 points, and they'll walk away winners here this afternoon. 72-46, no problem for Pittsburgh. They go to 19-3. They are 7-1 in conference play. We'll be visiting with some members of this victorious Pitt team when we come back to the Peterson Center.
My husband and I are constantly on the go, what with work and shuttling the kids between ballet and soccer practice. Come on, kids. It's hard to find time to care for our lawn.
It's easy to overlook your lawn when you lead a busy life. That's where Scott's Lawn Service can help. Hi, I'm Ashton Ritchie with the Scott's Company. Just because you don't have the time doesn't mean you can't have a great lawn. Just give Scott's Lawn Service a call. A Scotts specialist will inspect your lawn and design a program specifically suited to its needs. And we apply Scott's proven products to your lawn. With Scott's Lawn Service, you'll never again face lawn problems alone. And of course, Scott's Lawn Service is guaranteed. You don't sign any contract, and you can stop the service at any time. Give Scott's Lawn Service a call. Get the convenience of a lawn service and the confidence of knowing it's Scott's.
For a free, no-obligation lawn analysis, call now, 800-238-1400. That's 800-238-1400.
Very balanced scoring once again for this University of Pittsburgh team. They scored 72, and 10 different guys got involved in the scoring in this game. We're happy to be joined by head coach Jamie Dixon. Jamie, congratulations. I think this one might have been a little easier than you expected, the way St. John's have been playing.
Well, yeah, we saw the last two tapes, obviously, and saw what they did to Notre Dame and then Syracuse, of course. So I was very happy with how we played. I thought we played very well in the first half. We didn't shoot it quite as good, but there were good shots, and I figured the second half we'd start knocking them down. That's kind of what happened.
Yeah, I use that as a sign of how good you are.
Yeah.
I used to call those time clock wins. You just kind of punched the clock, came out and gave a great effort. You didn't shoot it spectacularly like you did at Cincinnati, and yet comfortably ahead the whole day.
I thought our defense was good throughout. I thought we handled the ball well. We had 3 turnovers in the first half, so we were executing good. Again, the shots didn't fall again, but again, the second half they started to. But the defense was good all the way through. I thought we defended well and handled some things well as far as post defense was a little bit better today, and Hamilton's a tough load, so we wanted to be ready for that.
You handled him very well, but it's going to be a short turnaround. You get right on a plane tomorrow and go to Villanova, right?
Yeah, we're going to do something light tomorrow and get ready for Villanova. I'll watch some tape to now and get ready for them. But I'm really happy. It was great to see all the guys. Doyle Hudson playing great at the end there, and he's a great player. And sometimes we can't get him in the minutes that he deserves, but he's a hard worker. It's good to see Maurice and Jeff in there as well. But we're so unselfish, too, at the end, too. I think it just shows what kind of kids we have and players we have. A great group.
You got another double-double out of the big man today.
Yeah, well, it's almost like you just write it down and count on it, and it's a nice thing to have. Sometimes you almost overlook it, but I thought he was good. I thought he was very good defense. I thought he was best day in a while defensively because he had to guard Hamilton a lot and had to guard on the perimeter a lot, but that was a good execution right there on a play, and it was a good left hand there, but he was very good on the defensive end, so they could throw some defensive highlights in there too.
We were made mention of the fact at the end of the game, and not to make too much of it, but you were coaching right till the last second. You mentioned some of the guys, Jeff and some of the other guys who don't get a lot of minutes.
Yeah.
I think that's a key to your team, and it translates to the fact that on any given night you talk about 9 starters, and we saw that again today. Different guys in different stretches stepped up and made shots for you.
I thought Keith Benjamin played real good in the second half, especially when we made our run as well, one of those runs, and that's key. And we need all 10 of them. And then obviously we got Maurice and Jeff, who are walk-ons in there, who are great kids that helped us the last 2 days in preparation for the press and getting ready for that. So those guys are very special to us, and so is Doyle in the end. And you can see that spin move and that dunk finish, so he can play.
And Sam Young played well off the bench. He always does, but he's a guy that's really kind of been up and down because of his health situation.
Yeah, I think we're going to see good things on a consistent basis the rest of the way with Sam. I really feel good about where he's at right now, and I think he's grasping everything. And he's just, he's a sophomore that doesn't get, those 30 minutes every night, but those 20, it's sometimes hard to get that rhythm if you get some foul trouble. But I feel real good about where he's at right now.
Jamie Dixon, thanks very much. Congratulations. Good luck on Monday. We've got more to come. We'll visit with some more of this Pitt entourage when we return to the Peterson Center.
Thanks for doing this.
Reason number 12 why you should own a Thermospas Hot Tub. They require no attachment to your home's plumbing. Simply fill it with a garden hose and plug it in. Thermospa's unique thermofiltration system is completely built in and filters the water an incredible 144 times a day, so your water stays crystal clear with very little maintenance. All you need to do is enjoy yourself every day of the year. Call to receive a free DVD and 48-page brochure and learn the most important reason. Buying direct, you can own a Thermospa for only a few dollars a day. Call now and we'll include free delivery, free chemicals, and a $400 cash coupon. This $1,000 offer is free.
Call 800-796-5599.
Thermospas, luxurious hot tubs made affordable.
No other weekly financial publication moves the markets like Barron's. It provides the knowledge, insight, and foresight that allow you to stay one step ahead. Subscribe now and you'll also receive Barron's Online with its daily columns, market analysis, and tools like the Stock Screener and the Stock Grader. Get 13 weeks of Barron's and Barron's Online, all for only $39.
Call now toll free 800-334-6600. That's 800-334-6600.
Final is 72-46. Aaron Gray joins us. Another double-double, 13 points, 10 rebounds, even though you sat a little bit with some foul trouble, didn't you?
Yeah, just a little bit, but, you know, still able to get in there and produce.
Very balanced scoring from your team today, too. Almost everybody got in the act.
Oh, absolutely. You know, that's one of our strengths. We have so much depth. We have so many great, you know, efficient players out there, both offensively and defensively. And, you know, we really take advantage of that.
Are you getting comfortable? Because Cincinnati guarded you with everybody. They ran the assistant coaches in. Today they played you straight up. Now you've got 22 games under your belt this year. You feel comfortable no matter what kind of looks they get, you'll know how to react?
Oh, absolutely. You know, I have perimeter guys that can make down, you know, can hit threes, and I have guys cut to the basket that are good finishers. So, you know, when teams try and take me away with 2 or 3 players, you know, we almost invite that. You know, I'm not out here for stats. We're just looking for wins. And, you know, obviously we've been very effective when teams have been double and triple teaming me.
Aaron, thanks very much. Again, a good job, and good luck on Monday.
Appreciate it, guys.
All right. Aaron Gray was the preseason pick as the Player of the Year in the Big East Conference. He did a terrific job again this afternoon, leading the Panthers to a 72-46 victory over St. John's. They had a big second half. Did the Pitt Panthers, wound up shooting 48% for the game, made 5 3-pointers. 4 of those, Bob, came in the second half.
They were outstanding offensively in the second half. As Jamie said, he thought their defense was good in the first half. Their effort was great. Their execution got better, and boy, did they just pull away.
Well, the Panthers win another one. They stretch their league record to 7-1. They'll play on the road at Villanova on Monday. They are the team that is in command in this Big East Conference race right now. 72-46 again, the final here in Pittsburgh. For Bob Valvano and our entire Big East crew here at the Peterson Event Center, I'm John Sanders. We thank you very much for watching. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll see you down the road. The Panthers win another one. So long, everyone.